Hello everyone, this is Riku Keyblade Master, and today I I gotta say it. Um with them saying that they're attacking non-civilian areas in Ukraine. You know what, Russia? Non-civilian areas my tail feathers. Alright, when you're sitting there attacking regular civilians and to the point where you're even targeting children. For those of you that know me, you know how I am. You know what I do to people that target kids. You guys know what I do. And it's not nice. Well, they deserved it. Here's the thing. Another medical condition I heard about today was something called shrapnel. That one little boy ended up getting, and I guess it builds up in the jaw. And the way he got it was because of strikes that was in his, bullets were hitting in his apartment. And his grandma suffering a lot of spinal cord injuries and a lot of nervous system injuries. She's in the intensive care unit. It's crazy. And sadly, when the Ukrainian crisis started, they said that they treated this one little girl, but she died. Shrapnel is not a joke. And, people think they can easily walk stuff like that off. That's all well and good, but in the end, you didn't win. By walking it off. Sure, you probably won't win depending on how bad it is when you get it treated. Much like that little girl who sadly passed away when all of the Russian and Ukrainian wars started. She was admitted when the issue started, but sadly did not make it out alive. I don't know what age she was or what her name was. They didn't disclose that. But the boy that I was talking about, I forget his name, but he was 8 years old when that happened to him. 8 years old. And as a girl who's gone through so much that is not a joke, who was brought back to life 4 times, mind you, in between being a baby and a toddler, and just shrapnel to me falls under the same category as hydrocephalus and LMC, which is the category of not a joke. Every day, even though I may have won when it comes to hydrosyphilis and LMC because I'm still, alive. In the end, I still sort of lost because just like hydrosyphilis and LMC, those of you that get shrapnel, I highly doubt there's a cure for it yet. I mean, I'm not saying shrapnel is something totally new. Shrapnel's been around for quite some time, just like hydrosyphilis and LMC. But those three diseases have one thing in common. Neither one of them has a cure for them yet. Neither one of them has a cure. And it's a shame because, I mean, my whole life I've been fighting for causes. I've been fighting for change. That's why I fight as hard as I do, because I don't know how much time I have left. So every day to me is like, I have to make a mark. I have to pull some sort of rabbit out of a hat, so to speak. Like, I'm under so much pressure to make things work, make things happen. Because as far as I know, since my dad had passed away in 2015, of course I got my two brothers, well, 3 brothers on his side of the family, but I don't know if they're planning on having any children. So as far as I know, right now, I'm the only one on his side of the family, the only female that has somewhat defeated these diseases. So you can understand where all the pressure comes from. You can understand where everything is coming from, and it's understand why it's not easy to, as far as I know, there's been a lot of females in our family that have died at the age of 2 years old, just on my dad's side alone. And it's like I'm trying to live for them. It's like I'm pushing for them. Why do you think I'm fighting so hard to try and somehow get somebody to find some form of a cure, even if it's just short term? Because I'm trying to create something that, is more inclusive towards people like us and people that have other areas that have been around for ages but still there's no cure for, like shrapnel, for instance. I don't want people to end up losing to diseases like these. We've already lost so many amazing people due to these diseases. Not just these diseases alone, obviously, but these diseases alone are the ones that, I'm basically centered around. Because I was born with hydrocephalus and LMC, as well as in the first stage of multiple sclerosis. So why wouldn't I be centered around it? Why wouldn't I want to try to fight for a disease that, should have a cure by now, but doesn't? Same thing with, shrapnel. Those kids didn't deserve to be targeted with any weapons whatsoever. No child deserves that. And now, look at the complications they're going to have for the rest of their lives. Unless they can get the shrapnel under control, I don't want them to end up with mess ups like I have to deal with my hydrocephalus and LMC. Hell, having a shunt in the right or left side of your neck, it's painful because you never know. You're subjected to a life of uncontrollable migraines. And not to mention, they're unpredictable. Like this morning, I woke up with one. I took some Tylenol and it went away, but they're not always like that. They're not always easy to go away. There have been times where they got so bad that I couldn't even lay down because it just made it worse. But, yeah, no child should have to go through those kind of things. And it just pains me to have to keep calling the same thing out over and over again, but not too many people seem to be listening. So, in order to get things done, sometimes you have to push harder and harder. Work harder to find a cure for these diseases as well as shrapnel. Find an easy way to handle them. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully, someone in the scientific community is listening to my pleas for these cures somewhere and is actually taking them to heart, because something needs to be done. Until next time, I've been Riku Keyblade Master. Comment, rate, subscribe to become a Keyblade wielder. And stay awesome as usual. Thank you guys so much for your support. No joke. Stay awesome. And not to mention, stay safe. Please. Cannot stress that enough.